Fellas, let's talk about Russia. We have not spoken about Russia in a while, and this is very interesting. A bomb much bigger than Hiroshima could be exploding next to the English Channel. And trust me, what does that mean? It's going to bury the United Kingdom. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day, but it's the weekend, so we kind of lazy a little bit. But because we love you, we got to do the work for you. I know a lot of you come see me, send me messages. I get messages inbox, hey, Zach, I watch you twice a day. I have not seen a video today. Hey, Zach, are you okay? I appreciate that, really. It goes straight to my heart. But it's a lot of work. But I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Your first time, you're welcome. We don't know who we are. No, we know we are, but we don't know you, right? But welcome to the family. We talk about a lot of things here. We talk about Africa. We talk about the diaspora. We also talk about Russia and Ukraine and what's happening in America and everywhere else. Why? Because it is very important for us to have our own narrative. Okay, mainstream media will always pump you with their own whatever. They will try to make you think in a certain way. Yes, the Russians will also try to make you think in a certain way. So it's necessary as an intelligent person to take both versions of the story so you can pull your own conclusion, okay? So you don't get to hate these people just because these people say those people are bad, or hate those people because these people say they're bad. The bottom line is people rarely accuse themselves of doing wrong. They will always blame other people. So I think it's necessary that we understand where we're going. Now, we are talking about the United Kingdom. A Russian-operated ship has been carrying a lot of explosive, and it's floating very close to the Kent coast. That's very close to the United Kingdom. The ship is known as Ruby, but dubbed by some as the floating bomb. The floating bomb. Why is it called the floating bomb? So the ship that is Russian-owned apparently is carrying ammonium nitrate. And for those of you who don't know ammonium nitrate, this is a very important component for fertilizers, and this is very flammable. Ammonium nitrate is very easily exploded. So it can very quickly be turned into a bomb. Ammonium nitrate, let me give you a simple example. In Lebanon, for instance, there was a massive explosion that was triggered by ammonium nitrate. Look at that. You see that explosion? Well, that's a big explosion. Now, it can be much bigger. Okay, let me give you context. What does this represent, okay, as a danger for the UK people? The Hiroshima atomic bomb was about 15 kiloton of explosion. Okay, are we together? That's in Japan. The Nagasaki explosion was about 21 kiloton of explosion. Now, this boat is carrying about 22,000 tons. So that's about Nagasaki kind of explosion. So it is an atomic bomb floating on a boat. Do you get that? Now, why is the ship there? The boat apparently sustained damage to both its rudder and hull, and is carrying 7 times the amount of ammonium nitrate that causes the catastrophic explosion in Beirut. 7 times. And the boat is anchored in Kent. It cannot move forward. Let me remind you, fellas, Russia recently sent a very strong threat to the UK.
If the decision is taken, it will mean nothing less than the direct involvement of NATO countries, the United States and European countries in the war in Ukraine. This will be their direct participation, and this, of course, will significantly change the very essence, the very nature of the conflict.
They say they're going to make sure they sink the United Kingdom. Why did they do that? Because the United Kingdom was sending weapons to Ukraine. And number 2, the United Kingdom was very close to allowing Ukrainians to bomb inside Russia. And the threat was very clear. If you dare allow the Ukrainians to strike using your missiles into Russia, we are going to sink the UK. Let's think about this. Vladimir Putin is a very smart man. Whether you like him or not, he's an extremely intelligent human being. After all the experience he's acquired from the KGB and everything else, he's a master chess player. The guy knows exactly how to play. I mean, now imagine this. You are at war, supposedly supporting somebody that is at war with Putin, and all of a sudden there's this ship that just died next to your coast. And this ship is carrying 20,000 kilotons of explosive, if not explosive, material that can be very explosive. 20,000 tons, that's very close to an atomic bomb next to your coast, and the ship just died. And you think it's nothing. So the ship died, the ship need to anchor at somewhere there to be repaired because they need time for reparation. What's happening? The ship came across Scandinavia, and Scandinavian authorities, including those of Norway and Denmark, have denied entry to the ship following significant damage of the hull. So the ship say, hey, we have issues. We need to be helped. They say, no, thank you. Please proceed. We're not going to have you here. And that is how they find themselves at the English Channel. So that's what it is, fellas. Russia and China right now are conducting a joint naval military exercise in the Sea of Okhotsk because they want to come together and be strong together. Why does China support Russia? China needs to support Russia because China has a very similar situation as Russia. China wants Taiwan back. This is China. And this is Taiwan. So back in time, the Taiwanese and the Chinese were the same people. But then they went to war. They were all living in the big land. After the war, some of them left the big land and went to this little island. And they created Taiwan. And Taiwan became like an independent country. However, China's goal is to recuperate Taiwan back into China to make it one nation. Now, Taiwan over the years have associated itself with Western nations. They're very good friend with America, very good friend with Europe. They've acquired weapons and many gifts and even the culture of Europeans. So the Chinese from China and the Taiwanese are very different culturally. Obviously, the West want to keep control over Taiwan so they can have a peek and look into China directly in case they have an issue. They can just bomb China from Taiwan. Now, like I said earlier, China need to strengthen Russia because they know if they go for Russia and they drown Russia out of pressure, the next victim or the next enemy will be China. Therefore, it is imperative that they hold hand to hand and go together. Now, I want to know how you feel about this. We know NATO and their friends have their bombs all over the world, okay? They have bombs in Poland. They have bombs and missiles in Germany. Now, is it wrong that Russia can have its ship somewhere next to the United Kingdom since they're part of NATO and they have bombs and stuff? What do you think about this? Do you think this situation is just a mistake? Out of the blue, it just happened that a boat that's carrying products that represent 20,000 tons of explosive could just very roughly and by mistake be floating next to Britain? Or do you think it's a very strategical move? Thinking about the fact that Vladimir Putin is a very smart human being. Just think about it. He just died, and floating and anchored. It's not going, it's anchored. Do you think this war in Ukraine is really just Ukraine against Russia? Do you really believe that? Why is everybody so engaged into fueling this war instead of bringing them together to sit down and have a talk? If they really want peace, why? Why can't they say, okay, sit down and discuss? What do you want? What do you want? Let's find a solution. Why are they sending so much money into weapons while there are hundreds of thousands of Americans that are homeless, sleeping outside? All these people are homeless. This is New York, fellas. This is underground New York. People have no health, no food, no household, but you're sending billions in war. What is the interest? Yes, because some people are making money out of selling weapons. The weapons that are selling to Ukraine, it's not for free. Ukraine has to pay for the weapons. And obviously, those people are big companies that supported politicians into getting into power. In the United States of America, unlike many other places in the world, let me give you a stupid example. A company that sells weapons like Lockheed Martin, like Raytheon, like Boeing, and many others will be willing to give millions of dollars to a politician who's looking to campaign as president, as governor, as senator, or many other things. Now, once this person is in power, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to make sure these companies make money. Now, how do these companies make money? If you sell weapons, do you want peace? If you make money through selling weapons? No, you don't want peace. You want as much war as possible. The more war is there, the more prolonged it is, the more benefits you make. And that's why many people don't like Donald Trump. And I know they made you believe he's a racist, he's misogynist. Okay, maybe he is, but he doesn't want war. So because he doesn't want war, nobody can tell him otherwise because he's already rich. He's got money. So he doesn't need money from any sponsors to help him become president because he needs no money from nobody. He can't be controlled. And that's the thing. Many people are thriving and getting rich through wars. And this man, I'm not saying he's Messiah. I'm saying they're putting him aside. They're making you think that he's whatever it is. Maybe he is, but he doesn't want war. He doesn't want people to die. He wants to bring peace. Let me know how you feel about this. This ship with 20,000 kiloton of bombs going next to the United Kingdom. I don't know where you are, but hey, you need to be very careful because if it hits the fan in Russia, it's going to hit the fan wherever you are.